Hi, hello, how are you? Amanda, Seint artist. We're doing our makeup. We're gonna do the full meal deal because I wanna show you how you don't need more, where's my thing? Bink, bink. How you don't need more makeup for a more event. You have your day makeup, what you wear every day, but then you wanna go on a date, you wanna go to a wedding, you wanna go to you wanna go do something and you wanna be extra. I'm gonna show you how. We're gonna start with our eyes. I'm gonna do the full face, but I just wanna show how you don't need a lot to have a lot. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I'm going to start with using my eyeshadow primer. I think a good primer is a good place to start because you want to be able to put your makeup on and then be fancy free and forget about it and not have to worry about touching it up. And so there's just little touches. It's not about the amount of makeup that you put on. I used to have my everyday foundation. I used to have my I'm going out, I need my heavy foundation, my full coverage, my stay don't move makeup. And then when I tried Seint, I realized it isn't about the amount of makeup, it's about the colors we use. I'm gonna grab my eyeshadows. I got my full palette here, and I'm gonna do just a nice, simple, everyday eye on this side. And then we're gonna zhuzh it up on this side, and this is gonna be the wedding event side. This is gonna be my everyday side. And I'm gonna show you how it's the same makeup, just touches of differences. Okay, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna prep both eyes with Paris. It's a really pretty pink eyeshadow, a great base that I like to use when I'm in my summer colors. I go between a lot of different colors in the summer, a lot. But this color right here is Paris. It's pink, it's pretty. I just think when I use Cupcake, which is more of a light pale color, that it makes me look light and pale on my lids, and I don't want to do that. All right, the next color I'm going to go into, I'm just using my BK Beauty brush. This is 203. There is a link for it, and I'm going to pop some of that onto my brow bone here. I always do this. And then we're going to switch to my smudge brush. And I'm going to go into a color called Skyfall. You could also use Trust. I like Salem. I just think it takes over a little too much. And on the smudger side, I am just gonna smudge on this outer part of my lid here along my lash line. It's not perfect, and I'm doing this first because I want to tone it down. All right, so I'm gonna grab a little bit more, and then I'm gonna go in my lashes here, and I'm just gonna go up and comb it into my lash line. Really, really good. And I do this, I'm going to tight line, but I like doing this first because, again, black can be, oh God, easily overwhelming, and I need a mirror in my face because doing it far away is so hard. Okay, this is easier because I can have my eye more open and I'm not gonna get my eyeball. But I'm just wedging this into my lashes and fanning this out. So it's just a little touch of difference. And yes, this will all get cleaned up at the end with a little bit of balm, a little bit of primer, a little bit of everything. But I don't mind using yesterday's mascara to be a part of today's look. Whatever, it is what it is. Okay, next I'm gonna go into my blur brush. I'm gonna be using the fluffy end, and I'm gonna go into a color called Bubba. And this is such a beautiful color. It's a one and done color. It is warm, and I'm gonna pop this way up high. This is going on my brow bone. I have hooded eyes, especially on the outside here. I like to pull this up really high out here because I want it to hide the fact that I'm hooded and just be better. Okay, my kids are up. That's good. Maybe they're getting ready for the day. I'm not gonna hold my breath on that, but they should be. But I'm just using Bubba as pretty much a one and done color. And then I'm gonna go into my favorite shimmer, which is Peppa. I use this a lot because I've hit 10, so I know I've used it a lot, and I love this color. I use my finger, and I just pop this on my lid for a little touch of shimmer. And this is my everyday look, okay? This is a great one and done everyday look. Let's add a little bit of liner and a little bit of mascara, and then I can show you how I take it from an everyday look to a night look. So I'm gonna tight line here, just for fluidity of using that eyeshadow. I'm able to taper it down on this inner corner a little bit. And then I'm gonna flick up on this outer corner, and I'm gonna use my fingernail to just pull this to a point. pulling it straight out to a point. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Sometimes the best tools you can have are just attached to your good old hands. All right, so we're just gonna pull that out with a fingernail. You can use a Q-tip too if you don't have long nails. All right, today is nail day too. I'm very excited. All right, I'm gonna add my mascara. If you are going to an event and you have lashes on, obviously just give this part a little skipperoo. But I'm adding my mascara. I really focus, whether it's day or night, on the base of my lashes, and I wiggle my lashes into the brush of my mascara to add thickness, and it's just really good. And then comb it up. I'm gonna reload. We're gonna do the same thing over here. We're just, again, loading into the base of the lash for thickness and fullness. I'm 43, and as we get older, we lose our lashes, especially if you used to be a lash extensions person like me. You lose a lot more. And then I'm gonna reload one more time, and I'm gonna build up onto the tips. I'm using that other mascara that I've just put on as a way to grow my length, and then I'll use it right here on the lower lash line. I just do it on the outside. I don't do it all the way across, but now I'm building. And this is how I do my mascara. It's nothing fancy. No big secret. I like a good primer, but sometimes I just don't want that extra step, so there's that. Okay, to take this from a day look to a night look, I'm gonna go into a color called Labyrinth. I've been playing with it a lot, and it's one of those colors that can be really light, but it builds really, really well. So it's not crazy dark the way that, let's see, let's grab, it says Trust or Coal. This is Trust. This is what I use on my brows. So it's not even as dark as my brow color, but I love the tone of this. Okay, we're gonna go in on the dense end of my blur brush. I'm gonna tap it on, and I'm just gonna build right on the outside, and I'm just gonna press it in at the base of that brow bone and in. And that is all that I do to go from a day to a night look. Day to a night look. I'm gonna grab in my palette, I'm gonna grab my balm. I'm gonna tap a little bit on the mid of my lid, and then I'm gonna go into that Peppa again. I'm gonna rub that in, and I'm just gonna tap and punch up my Peppa. And that's it. That's my day, night. And it's all gonna come together at the end, but I recommend doing your eyes first for fallout. I'm gonna do my brows last because I'm gonna mess them up when I do my makeup. All right, let's get our primer on, and we're gonna do our makeup, and I'm gonna show you how you go without adding a bunch of layers, so you still have the comfort of knowing you're solid and you know how you like your makeup, and you didn't just add a bunch and you're worried about, oh my gosh, did I do too much extra? Did I add texture? Because we're not gonna put more on. I want you to remember that. We're not putting on more to go on an event date, okay? We're not. All right, I'm gonna go into my color correctors. I'm gonna use my blend brush. I've been using my silver shape brush, but for an event, I'm gonna stick to the brushes I'm the most comfortable in, because we are doing things different. So stick to the things that are in your comfortable wheelhouse. So I'm gonna go in on the small end of the blend brush. I'm gonna go into my Aspen, and again, I'm just gonna go over my redness really lightly and over my pores. I think Aspen is a great camouflager. Don't spackle your pores. You're just sweeping this over, and it just creates a really good camouflaging barrier. Doing the same thing over here and going over those large pores that I have. Wherever you have large pores, just do a light sweeping of Aspen. It's a really good primer for it. Or you could get a poreless primer. There's lots out there. Try them out and find the one you like the most, because what I like isn't always what everybody else likes, and I recommend travel sizes if it's available, but also just try the things because everybody's skin is different, and find the one that you like the most. All right, we're gonna go into my suede. These are all my favorite preps because it's gonna hold my makeup in place. I'm not adding more, I'm not going deeper, I'm just doing my makeup like I do for every day. All right, same over here. We're gonna camouflage that darkness, that hyperpigmentation, but also we're setting a good dense base to hold our makeup in place. All right, going into my balm here, we're gonna go under the eye, and then I'm gonna look around to see if I have any areas where I'm dry. And if you do, you're gonna place it there. And then we're gonna go right here, right here, right here. Okay, I'm gonna go into my blush and bronzer, and I'm gonna go into my main highlight. I'm using Athens right now. We're just going to even out the skin tone. So I'm grabbing my Athens, and I'm just gonna put this again on my normal beard of my face. And I'm going to cover up my scars with it, going into the crease of my nose and bringing it down. Easy, easy, easy. Okay, going in, again, lower part of the face. And I'm really focusing on my placement here. I have some discoloration right here, and then I definitely have my discoloration up here. So I'm gonna get that covered, and then I'm gonna blend it out to my balancing areas. This is where I apply it just a touch different. I'm really focusing on coverage, because if I'm going to an event later, like I'm gonna wear my makeup to work and then we're gonna go do a date later, I'm gonna be really purposeful about how I put my makeup on in the morning when I'm getting ready for the day. So covering the scarring first, and then going to where I just need to create my balance, and then bring it down the neck. Okay, I'm gonna grab my brightener. Actually, I'm gonna grab my Frenchie, and we're gonna correct our under eyes. I'm gonna get that right here for my everyday. Now, when I'm doing an event, I do use my demi under my eyes because it makes them just a touch brighter. So I'm gonna go into my Y01. Now everybody has their way. And again, you don't have to do it this way. These are just the tips and tricks. So when you know how you like your under eyes for events, you just don't wanna take the extra time with demi, save this for one of those special events. So I'm just gonna get that darkness, cancel it out with my demi. I'm using Y01 for me. Mine's not super dark. It's just a little bit of a blue purple. And so we do a yellow orange, and you get a color wheel when you get demi. And I'm just canceling out that darkness first. Then I'm gonna go in with the fluffier end, and I'm going into 03, or no, oh yeah, 03, which is just an orange, because my dirty spots, this corrects it really nicely. I call it my dirty spots. It's just overall discoloration under the eye. I'm just gonna tap that on, and that's my prep. But I need that balm first, but it just adds a touch of pink, or you can do your demi. Okay, then I'm gonna take that blend brush that I love so much, and we're gonna go into our brightening highlight. And I'm gonna go right here in the middle. And this is where things are gonna start to change. I'm still gonna wait on my under eye. I just didn't wanna forget that I'm doing two different things, because I tend to get caught up in my makeup. But I'm adding this, and I'm gonna under blend it. And I'm gonna bring it right up to the middle here, leaving the nose alone, because again, if you've watched, I like to do my bridge last. I'm gonna grab it, I'm gonna hit that Cupid's bow, and then right in the middle of the chin here. This is how I do my makeup every day. Everything's essentially the same. I've just under blended this area a little more. Okay, this is where things get different. I'm gonna use my detail brush, it's my favorite, and I'm gonna go into Cedar. Cedar is my favorite everyday contour, and I'm gonna contour my forehead here, just like I normally do. I'm going to contour my cheek, just like I normally do. I'm gonna contour my nose, just like I always do. My nose, I don't change, because if you know how you like your nose, just keep it the same. Okay, so we're gonna get both sides, over correcting a little bit, because, you know, I'm trying to straighten out my bump. If you don't have a bump or a crooked nose to straighten, and you like your nose just the way it is, you can skip this part. All right, so I've contoured. I'm gonna get that jawline right here. Get this hair out of the way, even though I thought I pinned it back. There we go. So I underblend my contours, always. I'm gonna grab Xanadu, the bronzer, and I'm gonna bronze like I do. I always add my bronzer just below my contour and then just above my contour. This is the only place I add my bronzer. And as you blend it out, it's gonna blend down your contour. I'm gonna take this small end, I'm gonna pull that brightening up and out into that contour bronzer. And it's gonna give me balance and brightening, and it's gonna look really good. Bumping it up, we're going tonight. I keep indigo in my palette when I'm gonna be doing a day to night look. So I'm getting ready to go on a trip. I'm bringing indigo with me. I'm gonna tap into Cedar, and I'm gonna tap into indigo to deepen it just a bit. And then I'm going to add it on just the way I did over on this side. It's just a bit deeper. And this is where I feel like whenever you're gonna get a picture taken, 50% of whatever you put on goes away. Okay, so we're going in over here again. I like having cedar in with my indigo because I have that hyperpigmentation spot over here and it keeps helping to hide everything. So again, going in to both, chisel out and down and under blending that contour. So it's just a touch darker. Going into Xanadu again and hitting those same points with my bronzer and blending it into that contour. I smile so I can see where I need to go, and then grabbing that brightening and pulling that out and in just like the other side. I have the same amount of makeup on each side. I'm just adding a little depth to my contour by tapping into indigo. That's the difference between my everyday and then my evening. Okay, I'm gonna do my under eye. I'm gonna go into my blend brush. This is my under eye brush. I'm gonna go into Versailles, and just like I did with the other side, I'm gonna smile. I do my makeup the same on both sides. I'm tapping over that Frenchie on this side, and I'm focusing on that inner corner. This is where I get really, when I try other makeups, I notice that I just don't get the coverage on this area right here. Inner corner and right under in this area, I get the most coverage from my Seint because of the pigmentation. Then I'm gonna come here on the orbital bone, my hair right up here, bringing it down to meet the bottom, and then I'm gonna bring it to my soft tissue, flip it to that fluffy end, and I'm just gonna smash it out. You want very little on that soft tissue, but using a highly pigmented brightener that you like is key. That's a good under eye, okay, with very little product. Same way, hitting that shiny spot, I'm gonna come up into that inner corner again, tapping over that demi, hitting that corner for that coverage, max coverage, orbital bone out here. This will help clean up that eyeshadow I upped. And then I'm kind of down the brightener or down the orbital bone with the brightener and then hitting that soft tissue. Fluffy in, blend it out, pick up excess if you need to. And then just touching it up, but you're able to clean up. You see how it just kicks it up a notch with that dark labyrinth right there? So pretty. All right, now we're gonna go into our blush. Oh wait, no, I gotta do my nose. We're gonna take the small end of the blend brush and I'm gonna go down the middle, just like that, little tiny bit. Use that little finger right there and just tap it out and press this up, tap, 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 tap. I like doing using my finger more than a brush. I think the brush can spread it, whereas this concentrates it where it is and blends it out really, really nice. I'm gonna take whatever's left on the brush and hit the tip of my nose because I like it that way, and that's all that matters. And then I'm gonna just empty out my brush on my Cupid's bow. This is a pretty area and I like to highlight my little peaks. Blush. You can have your everyday blushes. A lot of people like Madrid, Hollywood. I like Madrid in the summer, and I'm gonna tap into Hollywood a little bit, and I'm just gonna add a touch of pink to my upper cheek. I'm gonna grab some of my Frenchie for the apples because I get my scarring will pull through. I like pink, but I just keep it nice and subtle. That's a really nice everyday look, okay? But then I'm gonna be going to an event and I'm gonna grab one of our limited editions that are out, and I'm gonna use Ducky. And this is where it's different. I'm using the same amount, I'm just using a different color. This is much punchier than my blushes that I'm wearing right now, which is, oops, I'm gonna layer. Okay, so I used Madrid and so it's definitely deeper than both of these. This is an orange tone. It's a lot like Jolene, but no shimmer. Jolene has some flecks of purple shimmer. I'm gonna take my blush and bronzer and I'm just gonna pick some up and I'm gonna punch this side up with a deeper, brighter color. I love when I can punch things up. I'm gonna grab a little bit of Frenchie, just like on both sides. I always have Frenchie on the apples of my cheeks. Taking that fluffy end, I'm just gonna marry these two together. But I punch up the blush to a brighter color, not more makeup. Okay, so it's just a little brighter. It's not about the amount you put on, it's about the colors you use. Gonna contour our lips. Just gonna grab both, because I can't really do one half one. I think if you're doing a deep outer eye, you should go a little light on the lips and it's all your prerogative. I outer line with shadow instead of a lip liner. I'm taking my brightener highlight and Versailles, and I'm just going outside for a bit of contrast and brightening to clean up my lips. And then I'm gonna line my lips. I'm gonna grab my multitasker brush. My favorite color day to night is Renaissance, and I'm gonna line right on the edge, not outside of the lip, but darn close. And I'm not gonna go to the corners, I'm gonna stop short. Then I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna go inside and then hit that edge, not to the corner. And color the inner. I always color the insides of my outer corners. I blend it to it. There we go. Okay. And then I'm gonna go into a nice neutral color. I'm gonna use Hollywood, which was my day blush that I mixed with Madrid. I'm gonna add that to it. I like using a really soft, light pink. And this is a satin, which can feel, a lot of people say this feels really dry. I did prep my lips with balm, so they have some hydration on them, but a satin, matte, any lipstick that's matte or satin is gonna make your lips look dry or feel dry or both. And that's where you can use lip gloss, you can use chapstick, whatever you want. I'm gonna use my Diamonds Are Forever lipstick, and I'm gonna frost it, but I'm gonna go a little over on my Cupid's bow and then hit down here. This stuff is like a balm, but it's got a touch of shimmer, it's gonna frost it, and it's gonna be really pretty. And this can be your everyday lipstick. This could be your going out lipstick. It's whatever you want. You can cut out all of it and just put the Diamonds Are Forever on. It's very pretty on its own. Brows. I don't necessarily do my brows different, but I will do a deeper hard line. Does that make sense? All right, I use Trust, and I'm gonna go on the bottom corner here, and I'm gonna hard line the top, the bottom, hello. And then I'm gonna follow that tail straight out and extend it. Quarter of the way in, hard line the top, and then I'm gonna fill it in, flicking at the front, bringing it in an extra millimeter. I think it makes my eye look bigger and younger. I love a good brow. I love a good brow. And then I just comb this to lighten it, and then I pick up excess, and there we go. That's a good looking brow. It's a good, I like a good structured brow. Everybody has their preference. So again, we're gonna go and do that hard line at the bottom, up and over, extending that tail. If you got that new eyeshadow collection, that little, they call it a quad palette, but these little two tile palettes are so good as an eyebrow compact. That's what I would use it for more than an eyeshadow one, but if you have more than one, awesome. Okay, I'm just flicking up, and we're just gonna build this out and then clean it up. And then I just keep my brows pretty much the same. But this is how I go from an everyday, nice, subtle, soft eye, okay? Subtle cheek, a touch of pink, just Hollywood, Madrid, both, whatever you want, okay? Just Bubba with some Peppa on, with a little bit of liner on the outer corner, a nice soft contour, a little bit of bronzer. It's really nice. And then if I want to take it tonight, I've just bumped it up by adding one brown color out here and adding a touch of depth to my contour, and then using a brighter blush. I have the same amount of makeup on both sides. They're just different tones. And that's the difference with going from a day look to a night look, and then zhuzh up your hair. Get that deep part that everybody, is that a new, I'm bringing the deep part back. Okay, guys? And sometimes I'll just grab some of this and I'll pin this up. Did anybody ever see, what is that Michael Douglas movie? I loved his wife's hair in it. What was it? It was Glenn Close was in it. I loved that movie. I really liked the beginning of that movie more because his wife's hair was just something to behold. And so, zhuzh up that hair. Get that big hair. Bring that big hair deep part back, okay, guys? But that's it. That's how I go from a day, very nice, very subtle, to a little bit deeper for an evening look. It's not about more makeup. It's about using deeper, brighter colors if you want. This is also very pretty also, but I like being a little extra when I go out. So that's it. This is one of my longer videos, but I did do the full meal deal showing 2 different ways of either wearing your makeup or going from day to night in 25 minutes. You could easily do this in 15-20 minutes. Doing your full face for an event in 15-20 minutes. I used to spend over an hour on my makeup when I was doing an event. You don't have to, because everything's essentially in one place. All right, that's it. Message me if you want to try this makeup, or if you're wanting to have help with colors to go from a day to a night look. But I love Labyrinth as an add-on. Ducky is a great color. It's limited edition. Grab it while you can. But Dahlia, if you gravitate more towards the pinks, Ducky is more towards the oranges. But those are my 2 picks. Ducky or Dahlia if you're wanting that more punchy pink color. And that's it. That's how I go from day to night. It's not about more. It's just about colors. Play with your makeup. Have